ライブ配信中です。皆さん大丈夫ですかね？ Can you all hear me? Hey everybody. Thanks for coming around. 聞こえるでしょうか？僕のギター聞こえる？聞こえる聞こえる。 Hello hello. Hey bro. 素晴らしい。みんなできてるじゃん。ちゃんとギター聞こえるかどうか知りたいんですよね。Can y'all hear this guitar? Sounds like you can hear it, right? いいじゃないですか。初めてこういうライブのやり方ですから、意外と新鮮な感じなんですけど、一応とにかく楽しみたいと思います。Everybody, I just want to say hello and have you guys join in with me for some time. You know, there's no real ending or beginning to this thing. We're just going to keep going. I'm going to answer a bunch of questions and in English or Japanese. 日本語でも全然 OK ですよ。とりあえずいっぱいギター弾きます。First off, I'm just going to play a bunch of guitar and I hope you enjoy it. All right? So here we go. gets in the way all the time.これは日本一産テーマソングです。Japan Heritage Theme Song. 皆さんありがとう。Thank y'all very much. Thank you so much for coming around, checking it out. And the comments are going by so fast. I'm really, really happy that you all joined me today. I'm really happy that you guys are staying inside and making the best of the situation. That's all we can do. And I've got so many questions from you guys over the last couple of days that is really hard to decide which ones that I'm going to do. So I'm just going to randomly pick some questions out that they were all so good. Everybody, it seems like everybody is really thinking deeper than I usually think into things, and that's a good sign. So let me get into some of these questions, all right? Yosh, 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 yosh. Okay. Printed out tons of these things. All right. Of course, please do feel free to ask questions as we're doing this. I'm going to be reading your comments as we go. And I see some good ones right here. How did you develop your guitar playing? We're going to talk about guitars. We're going to talk about guitar playing. We're going to talk about everything else, too. It's not just going to be about guitar stuff and music stuff, you know. So let's just start right here at the beginning, all right? Here's one from Adam. It says, hope you and your family are all well. A personal question. I've been struggling a little bit the last few weeks since COVID-19 took over normal everyday life, and now I feel like I'm being consumed and overwhelmed by it daily. It seems like all I can ever do is think about it, even when I try to take breaks from reading about it. Guitar used to be my go-to stress relief, but I can't play it as much as I want to, blah, 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 blah. This is an important question here. Everybody's going through the same thing in very, very different extents. The vast majority of us are stuck inside and are going to have a lot of consequences having to do with our work, having to do with the way we make money and pay for things, and a lot of uncertainty and a lot of life adjustments. That's most of us. But there are some people out there, and actually there's a lot of people who are in much, much, much worse situations. They're in the hospital dying and they can't see their loved ones. That's just unbelievable, and they have to just die. Not only die, but die suffering. You know, in front of a bunch of people with rocket ship suits on and stuff like that. It's just really a horrible thing. These people are suffering so badly and dying. That's the worst thing. And nearly as bad as that are the people, the doctors, the nurses, and the hospital staff, and everybody who is trying to help these people. I can't imagine what they have to see on a daily basis, how they keep their heads up and how they keep from breaking down, because it's just got to be so hard to look at. And I know they're trying their best to help these people, and there's only so much they can do, and they're doing everything they can. Those are like superheroes that when we come out of this whole thing, those people and the people working in groceries and food and delivering things and all the people who are really still working now, those people are superheroes. But the thing the rest of us can do is we can lessen the burdens of those people in the hospital staff and things like that, the doctors, the nurses, and all that. We can lessen the burdens of everybody. It's a big sacrifice on our parts, but at least, like, at the end of the day, you know that you're kind of, if you just stay in and don't go out and don't do anything that risks you getting sick, not only does it keep you from getting sick yourself, it also lessens the burden of these people who are in the hospitals every day and all the other people out there. So if nothing else, just please stay in and think about those people. Of course it sucks. It really sucks, and people are going to really lose a ton of things that they're used to having, and there's a lot of adjustments that are going to happen in the next couple of months and maybe years. But this is one situation where everybody can help people. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can help by just staying in and not spreading things and not catching anything yourself. So that's pretty much the end of my rant on that thing. But sometimes you feel completely hopeless, but at least what you did by staying in and not spreading anything and not catching anything, what you did was you lightened the burden for the people who are really dealing with this stuff, like the doctors and the hospital staff and nurses and all those people. And thank God for the people in the grocery stores and all those people. All right, so that's enough of that. Let's talk about some fun stuff. じゃあ日本語もやらなきゃいけないんですけどね。だからとりあえず短くするとなんていうかな今からいろんな人生の調整が必要だと思いますね。本当に辛いと思いますが、一番辛いの人たちはもう病気で亡くなる人ですね。あとその医者たち、看護婦さんたちと病院で働いている人たちは信じられないほど辛いと思います。その風景を毎日見るなんて、それももう永遠まで忘れられないし、すごい落ち込むなんですけど、あの人たちはいきなりヒーローたちになりましたので、あの人たちをどうしても応援したいんですよね。だから応援できるっていうか、僕ら本当に今回は応援できることがありますよ。そのことは出ないっていうことですね。感染されないように、感染しないように、病気にならないように、とにかくできるだけ家にいてください。そうしたら少しずつ一人ずつその医者さんたちの負担が減るんですし、自分が何かできてるという達成感も感じるんですので、本当に辛いと思いますけど、とにかくしばらく家にいてくださいね。だからそういう政治的な話は全然しないなんですけど、とにかく僕らはできることはそのぐらいですよね。だからそれ一緒に頑張りましょうね。外でないように家の中にできるだけ楽しいことを考えましょう。お願いします。じゃあ let's get to some more questions. Alright, here's kind of a long question. Let's go to some shorter ones. Okay, how was the whole process of moving to a different country, continent? How much planning did you do before finally deciding, oh, now I can do it? And did you ever wonder if it was the right choice? I mean, were there moments when you had doubts and when there was a moment when you finally thought, okay, this feels right? Okay. 全部日本語でやれないんですよ。ごめんなさい。だから時間が少ないからほんの少し日本語と英語両方やりたいなんですけど、なんかキリがないのでちょっと英語だけのやつもありつつ日本語だけのやつもありつつなので、ちょっとなんか許してください。So the question was, when I came to Japan, I know a lot of you people out there are considering moving to a different place, and I get questions like that all the time. Of course, let's wait until everything settles down with all of the health concerns. But I think if there's something burning inside of you to do something or try something, you know that. It's not really like a question of, oh, should I, shouldn't I? You kind of know it. And sometimes you have to make a stupid decision to really make a big step. So when I decided to go to Japan, I thought, it was this simple. I like the music in Japan, so I'm going to go there. It was that simple, kind of stupid, but kind of, it was what I felt like doing. So I just did that. And what's the worst that could happen? I could go back home or go back to America or whatever. And now I have best of both worlds. I'm here in Japan doing my music and I tour around the world. So I have everything everywhere. So I feel at home wherever I go. I'm not really, oh, I belong here, I belong there. But everybody, who thinks about moving around some places, sometimes it's best not to overthink those things. Okay, let's get another question here. All right. Here we go. Here's a question. As it stands, I am someone who struggles to open up and tell people tell people what's going on. Have you ever struggled with bottling up your heart issues? And if so, how did you overcome them? All of us have things that we're shy about, that we're not good about. For some people, it's talking. And to be honest with you, that's not really one of my strong suits. I'm not a big talker. So I kind of like have a lot of things on my mind. And when I do stuff like this and when I talk in public, they all kind of like vomit out of me. And I think the only advice I could give you is to force yourself into situations where you have to face your weakness. In this case, your weakness is kind of a speaking in public, I guess, and holding things in. Sometimes it's best to hold things in. But I think you have to force yourself. The only way to do anything cool is to force yourself to do it. Okay, so let's get another thing in here. Okay. I have one simple question. Metal or pop? Okay, metal or pop? How about music? I like a lot of pop. I like a lot of metal. And yeah, so music. 日本ではそんなにジャンル分けはしないなんですけど、海外ってすごい厳しくジャンルを分けるので、よくなんか向こうの人たちはメタル好きだったらポップ聴いちゃいけないっていう意識があるんですよ。それ僕的に非常になんか心が悩んじゃうような状態になりますので、本当に嫌です。だからジャンルいろいろあるから、そんなに分ける必要ないんですよね。だから人種もそうでしょう。だからそんなに分ける必要ないですよね。好きだったら好き。好きじゃなければ好きじゃない。だから心の正直言った方がいいと思います。Alright, let's get some other questions in here. Are you planning to go on tour once this virus is over? Yes, definitely. I had a tour of Europe planned. I had a tour of Japan planned. All of that stuff, thankfully, got canceled before it happened. But I just feel so terrible for the bands who are on tour when this thing all happened. And they had to cancel tours, and just the amount of money lost and time and just hellishness. I was very lucky that my tours had not started yet, but I was about to announce tours. But the answer to that question is yes. When everything settles down, I'm going to go on tour. So, ということはこの全世界世の中は落ち着いたら僕はツアーを行います。もちろん日本も含めて全世界ツアーやるつもりです。Okay. Let's hear another one. Here's another one. I want to ask how mainstream music has changed throughout the decades of your career. How do you believe the guitar fits in these days? Has it lost its relevancy? Relevancy is a word that critics use, and I don't think people with rock spirit use that word because we don't really care what's relevant. If we did, we wouldn't be playing guitar in 2020, and obviously there are a lot of people playing guitar. Just look online and everybody's playing guitar now. It's just a wonderful, wonderful thing. And I hardly think that people pick up guitar because they heard EDM music and decided they wanted to play guitar. Although I love EDM music. But what I mean by that comment is rock is the thing that sparks people to pick up a guitar and play. I mean, rock is kind of it's a guitar-based genre, if you will. And I think a lot of people, whether rock is relevant or not, they see the guitar in rock music and it makes them feel something that they want to play guitar. And so I think, don't worry about whether it's relevant or not. If you feel it, you do it. And you love it, and you make it, make it work. And if you want to go by what the critics say, every couple of years the guitar finds its way into music, and it's never going to die. Fortunately, in Japanese music, guitar enjoys a much bigger presence than the rest of the world. But who cares? There's great music everywhere, and you can find it if you just look for it. Okay, so let me see if everybody's in agreement here. That's nice. From the heart, yes. Okay. Let's get some more questions in here. how much money to shave my head? Okay. ハゲにするならいくらかかるんですか？賄賂という話なんですけど、1億円もらったら坊主はしません。I don't think I'm gonna shave my head because I did it once and it sucked. Right around the early 2000s, I cut my hair off really short. It was a big mistake. It didn't look good, and I liked it for a little while. The cool thing about cutting your hair off is you get more respect outside of the world of rock. When you go to an airport or something, they don't check your bag so much, and you just get more respect. I don't know what it is, when of course, when you're in your element, you got your fans and your friends and they love you, but outside of that, you just look like a long-haired freak or someone who's like in a completely different time era, and I don't care. It's the only thing that works, and it's the only thing that looks good when you're headbanging, I remember when I had short hair, I was headbanging, it just sucked. Didn't feel good. So, 絶対髪の毛を切りません。期待しないでください。全然似合わないので、いくらお金もらっても坊主はしません。Okay. You lived in San Francisco and LA for a while. What's your opinion on those two cities? What did you like and hate about them? Didn't hate much about either of them. I didn't like the weather in San Francisco very much. But the thing I loved about San Francisco when I lived there is it didn't go through gentrification. I can't speak English anymore. When everything is a chain and everything is, Starbucks here and TGI Fridays here and everything is a chain, and there's so many cities, especially nowadays, not only in America, but all kinds of places where they're starting to look exactly the same. And that's just so sad. So incredibly sad. San Francisco, when I lived there, it was the same way it was like in the 70s probably. When you see old movies or TV shows about San Francisco, it looked the same. So I love that about San Francisco. LA is it's a nice place because everything is there. I strongly suggest once this, virus thing is done, if you want to raise your chances of making it in the entertainment business or music business or anything, with one move, you can already raise your percentage of making it, and that is to move to LA. That's it. And, you can talk amongst yourselves about that. But there's just no question that's the center of the entertainment universe. New York is the same. Tokyo is the same for Japanese-related things. But, there's no sense in wasting time in the entertainment business because it's like a lottery anyway. So your chances are so hard to get in there if you're in a city that's far away. Even though I know you got the internet and all this and all that, but everything happens in LA. So do yourself a favor and go out there and check it out. That is, if you're intending on being a lifer in the music business. If you're not, then that's perfectly fine to be in Kansas City or wherever else you like. I mean, I lived in Arizona, and to be frank with you, I liked living there more than LA because it was just so chilled out. But by that time, I had already developed, a career to some extent that I didn't need to be pounding the pavement as much as I did when I lived in LA. So that's just like a tip because people ask me all the time, what should I do? And it really has nothing to do with how you play music. There, as you can see, think about this for a minute, everybody. There are millions of great musicians out there. Every small town has like a mom and pop music store where there's a good teacher or someone who can really play. Every town. And how many of these people get out of this town and make it to the world stage? So what does that mean? That means that, of course, you have to be able to play music and make music and create music. But making it in the world of music and entertainment and making it as your life requires different kinds of sacrifices that have so little to do with music and none of them are fun. They all require, not being able to be with people you love. They all require being poor. They all require kissing ass. They all require being in the right place at the right time. They all require all kinds of things that suck. But that's the difference. That's why when you're in like Steubenville, Ohio, and you go to a local music store and you see some guy who's just a monster, can play anything and everything, but the guy does not have the intention to, do that, be what a lot of, fans want to be when they're first starting to play music. They want to get onto the stage and rock for thousands and thousands of people. Now, I do not want you to misunderstand me. Being a great musician in a small town and teaching and playing in local shows and stuff like that and making music and recording and all that, that is absolutely fantastic. And it's probably a much happier existence than a lot of the people who are so-called making it in the world of music. The most important thing in life is family. The most important thing in the world is like being with the people you love, and that is way more important than living out your dreams, so to speak. So the people, these great players who are in the small towns, they're doing music and they're making music and enjoying it, and they have their family close by, and they're not gone for 12 months out of the year, and don't have to deal with being the flavor of the month one day and then trying to catch up the next day, and always having to do things in music. Those people are really, really the intelligent ones, I tend to think. So, it's a trade-off for everything, but what I completely went off on a tangent. If you want to make it in the music business, go to a major city. That's the end of that. Okay. その話すごい長かったんですけど、でも基本的に僕言いたかったのは、本当に音楽で自分の職業としてしたいなら、田舎じゃダメだよっていうすごい長い話になっちゃったんですけど、なんか音楽の世界は都会にあるんですよ。だからこの病気のことは全部収まったら、全部落ち着いたら、音楽は本当にガチでやりたければ田舎じゃなくて本当に都会に行けないとダメですね。でもう一つの大事なことは、音楽は職業になるっていうか、ビッグスターのミュージシャンじゃなくて、とにかく音楽やりながら自分の家族と一緒にいて、自分の街楽しんでて、そんなに音楽家のチャレンジしなくても全然幸せだと思います。実はそれの方が幸せ、気持ちは時々ありますね。音楽だけの職業にすると自己犠牲がキリがないほど次から次へやらなきゃいけないので、いろいろ一応言ったんですよね。それはその話ですから続きます。長いんですよね。これ this is getting pretty long, but I think it's really a cool thing to do because I get to learn what you guys are thinking, and I get to try to come up with an opinion on these things that I don't really know what the hell I'm talking about most of the time. So let me look on the phone here to see what you guys are asking. I don't understand Japanese. Konnichiwa. I guess there's better questions here. All right. Okay, I'm very fascinated by the fact that every one of your solos in Megadeth's R.I.P., I guess that's Rust in Peace, album is perfect. So I want to ask, how do you write your solos? By improvising and making changes here and there, or completely from scratch? I don't completely understand the question, but if you think anything that I did was perfect, then thank you very much. I appreciate that. I think chances are that not only music that I've released, but music that anybody releases, to them it's perfect before they even let it go out the door. So making things perfect is what my job is and what everybody's job is in the studio. It's the responsibility. As you're doing a record, any record, you're playing to create this thing. Whether or not anyone listens to it or not, or anyone enjoys it or not, you can't control that. But one thing you can control is whether you are completely satisfied with it, you love it, it's the best thing that you can do. Well, I see a good question here. I'll get to that later. It's the best you can do. It's exactly what you want to represent you at that moment in time. Let me say that again because that's pretty important. When you're releasing something or you're working on something to release it, that is something you can control, that you want to make it exactly the thing that represents how you feel at that moment in time. Okay? So you keep working on it, you work on it, you work on it till it becomes something that you say, yeah, this is what I want people to think that I'm doing. All right? So if you think it's perfect, then it's perfect for me. But of course, when I go back and listen to all my records, I think, well, I should have done this differently. I wish I would have done this differently. And maybe we'll do one of these chats where I can go through everything one by one and say, oh, this is great, or I could do this so much better now. And this is a fact, though, anyway. Anything that I've done before, I'm sure that I could do it more to my liking now. But there's also some things that are magical that you don't want to retry to do those things. So that's that. So a lot of people ask about my hair and this wig that I'm wearing here. 実は僕の髪の毛についていろいろ質問が来るんですけど、実はカツラです。違う。カツラじゃないです。No, it's not a wig. It's all real. I don't do anything. The only thing I use is a shampoo. It's like a 3-in-1 shampoo conditioner thing from L'Oreal Japan. And I think it's called Extraordinary Oil or something to that extent. It's like shampoo, conditioner. There's no, what do you call it? Awa de ego de nani? Awa. Bubble, suds. There's no, I can't speak English. Awa ga nai shampoo desu yo. So what it is, it's like shampoo without bubbles. And I think it's really good for your hair. I used to use this stuff called Wen, which is also very, very good. But I don't like the way that you have to, it's like really scammy when you order from those guys. You have to do this thing online and then you have to cancel it, and they should just sell the stuff at stores. But since they don't do that, L'Oreal came up with a product that's exactly the same, maybe even a little bit better. And so I use that. It's L'Oreal Japan, and that's it. And then you wash it and go. Okay, do you watch any anime? Not so much. I've seen some anime and I like it, and especially if I'm about to work on an anime project, then I'll watch it. Like I watched Be the Beginning. It was a treat because when I watched Be the Beginning, I watched it before it was finished. They didn't have the ending and stuff like that, so I was watching it as they were making it, and I had to come up with the theme song of it, and so they really wanted me to understand the story. And so I watched it and I looked forward to the ending. And when I got the ending, I finished the song. It was really, really nice. And it was a Netflix anime that I've done, So that was really nice. All right, what else you got? Do you play Adios no Nino? I have played it a few times. I played it in Japan. I played it in Argentina. Argentina, I love you all so much. I became a big Piazzolla fan. And I went to play Piazzolla's music in Argentina, which is insane because Piazzolla is like a natural treasure of Argentina. And for me, this like white guy from the East Coast living in Japan, to go all the way to the home country of Piazzolla and play it in front of the people in Buenos Aires, that took a lot of cojones, took a lot of balls. And the people were so incredibly warm and forgiving. They allowed me to do it my way, and I'm sure there was criticisms because I don't do it. I wasn't born in Argentina, but I feel that I have a very important Kizuna te nani? Kizuna bond. I have a very important bond with the Argentina people, and yeah. So that kind of gave me the courage to do that. All right, so what else? Okay, 日本語の質問をやりたいと思います。 日本でライブをされる予定ありますか？最近ペヤング食べてましたか？ OK、最近ペヤング食べてないんだよね、そういえば。実はなんか響きが良くて美味しそうかも。ペヤング欲しいです。ペヤング食べたいです。I did this thing on TV where my hair looks like this yakisoba noodles, cup noodles type of thing, and a bunch of people picked up on it. And so after that thing aired, people were like bringing me this cup noodles everywhere I went. And it was kind of funny, but my hair kind of looks like yakisoba, and I really enjoyed eating it. And all the people gave me so much. Oh, I've got one. My AD is bringing some yakisoba. This one right here. This is a classic. It's good like it is, but they've got a really hot, spicy one that's even better. And if you put like some pork in it and maybe some vegetables in it, some big pieces of broccoli and stuff, it becomes kind of a healthy thing. And I really like it. And I mentioned that to someone on a TV staff, and they're like, "Oh, we got to put you on TV talking about it." And it was a little bit embarrassing, but like it wouldn't be the first time I've done embarrassing things on TV. So there you have it. で、日本のライブ予定あります。でももちろん今発表できないんですけど、すごい楽しみにしてます。Okay. What was your experience like meeting Tim Henson from Polyphia? I know you played with him in Hong Kong. Yes. My band played with Polyphia in Hong Kong. Where else did we play? We played in Singapore, Thailand, Manila, a bunch of... Did we play in Japan? It was a great, fun little Asia tour. And Tim Henson was a super cool guy and a really neat guitar player. I mean, really has a lot of interesting ideas. And I really like when guys are doing things that when I first listened to it, it sounds different. And it just sounds like, oh, that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought of doing that. And he's one of those guys. And their band, Polyphia, probably is getting a lot of people excited about guitar. And I love that. So it was great. We toured together. I think those guys party a lot harder than my band and I do. I don't know how to party like that, because a lot of those shows, we would get up at like 5 a.m, go to the airport and go to town and do our sound checks and meet and greets and all that stuff and then do the show. And those guys were like, as soon as anything was done, they were partying. So I have a lot of respect for that. And I like to do that sometimes, but those guys party animals and really cool musicians. Like them all very, very much. All right. Marty and Yoshiki. Yes. Yoshiki is from ex-Japan. He plays piano and also drums and writes a lot of the music and is a very important member of that band and a really big inspiration for me. One of the first reasons I came to Japan was because I was just crazy about the band X. They had an album called Jealousy, and I could not stop playing that thing. Loved it, especially Say Anything, my favorite X-Japan song. And eventually I came to Japan, and Yoshiki and I played on TV maybe about a year ago. We played Endless Rain together. It was just me on guitar and him on piano. And then we did like a little talk show, and it was just an awesome, awesome thrill. I hope we can do it again. And he's just a really good example of a very creative musician who breaks genre rules. I mean, ex-Japan's music, some of it's super, super, super heavy, and some of it is like really, really sappy ballads. And that rule is like, it doesn't work out of Japan, but I think ex-Japan made it even cooler than it really is by doing it in Japan. So let me say that in Japanese a little bit. 吉木さんと一緒にテレビでエンドレスレインやったことがあるんですけど、それは相当楽しかったです。僕は日本に来た理由の一つは、僕はエクスジャパンの大ファンでしたから、エクスジャパンの影響でやっぱ邦楽いいなと思ってたんですね。で、何がいいかっていうと、ゴリゴリメタルとベタベタバラードは同じアルバムに属するって、それ不思議と思ってて、 で、まさにエクストラパンはその感じだから、感動しましたので、それは僕のキャラのど真ん中ですね。僕の攻撃的なゴリゴリの音楽大好きなんで、同じほどベタベタバラード大好きだから、両方の表現を見せたいです。なので、エクストラパンはまさにその感じですから、その影響で日本に来た。で、本人と一緒にテレビでデュエットして、すごい光栄でした。で、ずっと YOSHIKI さんもエクストラパンずっと応援したいと思います。で、また一緒に何できると非常に嬉しいです。Alrighty. What else we got here? Oh, okay, here are some names that I recognize. Michael Francis. Michael Francis from my hometown, Washington, D.C., Baltimore. He says, do you think any chance you and Tom Gaddis will be writing again in the future? Now, Tom Gaddis is a very good friend of mine, one of my friends since I was 14 years old. Still a very, very close friend now, and I would always welcome the chance to work on music with him again. And we send things to each other back and forth in email, so you never know. But it's nice to hear from you, Michael. I hope you're doing really, really well. And here's another name I recognize, Lori Childs. How you doing, Lori? Out in Boston, I think. Your guitar acumen has become so refined and masterful through the years. I paid you to say that, right? It makes people feel deeply through the language of music. Do you have this in mind when you're writing, or is that just juju? Juju, what's juju? Your heart traveling through your hands. You're too kind. I love that you feel that way about my music. Hopefully, music becomes a language, and some of us aren't really good at expressing our feelings about certain topics in words, but if you do music long enough, you can make those esoteric statements through your music somehow. And I think in a lot of ways, I can say many things through music, very, very personal things that I can't say in words, or are very difficult to say in words. And I think that's just not just me, any artist who lives and breathes what they do. I mean, I think a lot of lifers in the music business know that feeling. So thank you very much. All right, here's another question. Hey Marty, when you're composing solos, which is more important, note choice or rhythmic variation? All right, let me have a drink while I think about that. Composing solos, or creating solos, writing solos, however you want to put it, making solos. There's not one thing that is more important than anything else, but these things you mentioned are very important. No choice is one of your weapons that is going to allow you to say what you want to say, not what someone else has already said so many times. Or it can also kind of tip the hat to the people you like by note choice. If your favorite guy uses these notes in these situations a lot, you can use those notes and people will think, I know he likes this guy. So it kind of gives people a clue to what you're like and what your tastes are like. So note choices are very important in those ways. Rhythmic variation. Don't get me started on this. I just did this thing on my fan group where I think you should all go and check out on Facebook, where I watched a lot of the videos of people playing guitar, not just my songs, but any songs, solos or whatever, and give them criticism. And probably the number one criticism that I have for everyone, and even myself, rhythmic variation in solos is key to doing anything that's interesting at all. And what I find that a lot of people in the YouTube generation, so to speak, and what I mean by that is people who are really good, have a lot of chops, and are playing on YouTube and They have a lot of people watching them on YouTube, and they just live on YouTube, and they're really great players and have a lot of abilities. But when you listen to these guys, I find this similar thread that kind of immediately turns me off to their playing. And what this is they all start their melody or phrasing on the downbeat of the one, and often with the root of whatever key they're in at that point. That is like the weakest thing that you can do. Now, these guys have spent a lot of time on their chops and have spent a lot of time working on guitar, but say, let me give you an example here. So say the chord's D, right? And they start the solo on 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just lame. Or they start right on the downbeat on the root, and that is just like, I'm guilty of doing that. And I remember when I first discovered that, I really thought that was a very non-interesting way to phrase things. I went back and listened to a lot of my music, and a lot of my old stuff had that same fucking problem to it. Like Dragon Mistress. I'm not plugged in anymore, but 2, 3, 4. It's all one. It's all on the downbeat of the one, and it's just like, oh, great. So I think rhythmic variation means having a melody that doesn't lean on the one when you start, especially on the root. But then, a lot of the great classic stuff does that. So, you can't say it's good or bad. But for me, I find it to be a common problem in a lot of the current chops guys, and even myself in the old days. And, you got to keep reviewing what it is you're doing. You got to be honest with yourself. You got to listen back to it and say, I could do this differently. And also, like, when you're coming up with the melody, you want to definitely try to be, this is your melody here, so let's do something cool. This is what people are going to walk away with. You might want to go. So, like, there's no one in the downbeat there. It's not downbeat heavy on the one anymore. And, you get a little more of an interesting motif to play off. But if you do all your things on the one, and then you go into some like quadruplets, it's all downbeat heavy, and it's just really, you can really see through what your guy's lifestyle is, and the lifestyle is, what it's basically saying is, I don't really care that much about melodies. I care about sitting in front of a metronome and being precise, playing in time and things like that, which is important, but that's not the message that you want to get to your listeners. Unless that is the message you want to get to your listeners, and that's completely fine. But I think in the scheme of things, if you want to really think in the long run, you want to find melodies inside yourself that represent you, that you feel like yourself playing. That's why I think a lot of people, myself definitely included, when they play other people's music, it doesn't come out very natural. It's forced. It's kind of like a struggle, and that probably comes from the fact that it's not yours. So I think, don't feel bad about yourself when, I wish I could play like this guy. You'll never have the same life experiences as those people. No two people do have the same life experiences. That's what's great about music. And when you're listening to someone's music, you're listening to their life, essentially. You're listening to, you're listening to their experiences, their heartbreak, their musical tastes, the things that they dislike in music that they avoid. You're learning so much about that person. You're feeling their feelings when done well. And so this is something to keep in mind in your music. You can learn so much about the person when you hear the person's music. That's why you shouldn't really feel bad when you're playing another person's music and you can't get it. When you're supposed to feel bad is when you can't get your own music. That's when you should start feeling bad. But that just means you need more work. So I don't mean to be disencouraging on that. But we always need to keep working. So there's so many questions here. I wish I could read Spanish. There's so many wonderful fans in Latin-speaking countries, and I wish I could say anything other than "Donde es los baños?" or "Je voudrais un parapluie, s'il vous plaît." I wish I knew a little bit more, but I don't. Let's see. How important is vibrato? How important is vibrato? It's important, but like people talk about working on vibrato. I don't remember ever working on vibrato. I think it comes natural when you play music a lot. So I'm sure there were somebody told me, shake a string, man. And then I shook a string. But I think when you're a young musician, if you play a lot of cover songs, as you should, just trying to play them, you'll notice that you're playing in tune or you're not in tune. And then your ear develops. And once your fingers start working, you get a little more courage in shaking the string. But I don't remember working on vibrato, so I can't tell you how to approach working on vibrato other than continuing to play, which is very bad advice. Because there are a lot of great teachers out there who could probably give you super advice on that topic. But what I can tell you is, you have to have developed a certain amount of ability to do this, but copy the vibrato of another instrument or a vocalist, like note for note. Like if the singer's going, shaking it, you analyze that with your brain and with your ear and try to find every little curve in that little person, in that voice, every little curve in that singer's voice, and copy that. So try to play along with a singer who has a vibrato that you like. It's really quite challenging, and I think I did that quite a bit when I lived in Hawaii. But it's useless to do that until you've been playing music for at least a year or so, a couple years, just so your fingers work. Keep stuff easy, man. Keep it easy for a long time. What's your favorite kind of car? I would love to have a 57 Chevy, more than anything, but I can't drive in Japan because it's on the wrong side of the road. So I don't have a car. And I love a 57 Chevy. 車について聞かれて、僕50年代のアメ車がすっごく好きなんですけど、日本の運転のやり方で僕の育ってきたアメリカと逆だから非常に怖くて心配で日本で運転することをしないようにしました。なので車もう乗りません。運転しないなんですけど、あと日本の運転免許非常に難しくないですか？アメリカはそんなに難しくはないので、だからみんな下手くそ。だから自己祭りなんですけど、日本では非常に厳しい。なのに僕の質問なんですけど、結構日本にペーパードライバーとか結構いるんじゃないですか。全然運転するつもりでないのにわざわざ勉強して免許すごい高いし免許を取って全然運転しないってどういうことですか？念のためとよく言われるなんですけど、念のためって何の念ですかね？どうせいくら免許取ってもちょっとなんかしばらく運転しないとやり方忘れちゃうんですし、ちょっとそれは不思議ですね。運転しないつもりのにペーパードライバーになれて、だからもしなんか答えてくれるんだったら答えてくださいね。Okay, so that's my driving story there. Okay, well, here's one that will hopefully help you guys a lot. your delay settings, please. Your delay settings. And a lot of these questions, people say, how was your settings? What amp did you use? How were your settings on this album or that album? And I'm going to tell you, everybody right now, once and for all, and I've said this before, but the way I do it is this way. I have my gear in the studio. And in recent years, I have an Angle Inferno Marty Friedman signature amp, of course. And I have my tech turn the knobs until it sounds like something I'm going to play with. You know what I mean? I'm not a knob turner. I don't know the theory behind what makes tone work. And I have a lot of admiration for guys like Steve Vai and Devin Townsend and probably most guitarists in the world who are really, really wired for that in their brains, and they love working with pedals and love exploring those things and get so many great things out of it. I don't have that chromosome. So what I do is basically round up the most gear I can possibly get into the studio, have the tech, have things set up for the part that I'm playing. So like what I'll do is I'll walk into the studio, play the part that I'm going to do. Okay, here's the solo I'm going to do, or whatever part it is, rhythm, clean, whatever. Then he'll like turn knobs, and then I'll try it again. Oh yeah, it sounds good. Sounds great. Let's do it. And this happens for every single part of every single song that I've done on every single album that I've ever released. So, to go back and even ask me what settings I used last week, I wouldn't be able to tell you. As you can tell by my playing, I get my expression and just from the content and the notes, and there are probably a million guys out there who can get much, much better tone than I can. And that's totally fine, and I envy these guys a lot. I don't have the time for that or the ability. By the time I dialed something up myself, I would just say, fuck this, I don't want to play anymore. I really, really don't have that patience. I just want to play. I want to make music when I feel like making music. I don't want to, maybe it needs a little more 3 dB in the low end. I don't want to know about that stuff at all. And that's why there's professional techs who are great at that. And I just love surrounding myself with people with that talent. And so when I'm in the studio and live, my tech for live is a great guy. Hopefully he's watching, a guy named Alan Sosa. And he just dials me. And the longer that, you play with the same guy, you start to have this ishin denshin in Japanese. You just kind of read each other's minds. And even as I'm playing, Alan is like turning up certain elements of the gain, certain elements of the treble and EQ. And I've got a pedal called this thing I use, auto filter from Maxon. And there's really not a whole lot of adjustments to do. But anyway, he does it while I'm going. So in other words, I can't give you an answer for that. But what I can tell you, settings are not that important. They're really not. If what you're playing is what you feel like playing, of course settings will make you sound better if you have that talent and ability or someone to do it, of course. But I think content is 日本語は最優先なんですけど、top priority is content. And then if you have that talent or ability to discover sounds, it's a talent I wish that I had. Turning pedals until they get that sweet spot, and it's really, really a nice thing that I admire a lot of people. And I'm not inspired to do that. And sometimes that sonically my output will suffer because of that, but it really doesn't bother me that much. When I'm doing something that lasts forever, like a record or a tour, a tour, you hire someone who does it right, and all I want to think about is playing. I don't want to think about stepping on a wah pedal or stepping on a volume pedal or stepping on anything. I just want to get completely lost in what I'm doing and have nothing stand in between myself and the music that's coming out. It's really kind of the ultimate goal, really. And it's kind of a spoiled goal, so to speak, because I actually think it's kind of every guitarist's responsibility to have some kind of handle on what the hell their equipment does. But, people are what they are, and I am what I am, and I've never really developed that, and luckily I've always been surrounded with people. Their passion is in that, and I'd rather use their passion than my non-passion at that. So that's gear. But I can tell you one thing for sure, and this might sound like a sales pitch. If I put my name on something, it's good, because it's what I actually use. Because I don't want people using something with my name on it and it sucks. No matter how much money I would get or what kind of exposure, or none of that. Everything that I've had a lot of wonderful endorsements and signature models over the years, and those are things that I really, really use, and they're important in the development stage, that it's something that I love, that I can do what I need to do with. So you can be sure that if you use, say, my signature amp, my signature pedals, do I have any pedals? I don't think so. Hopefully I can get, a signature pedal. It would be like a Maxon auto filter, but pickups and guitars and anything that, I want to put my name on. Your name is important, and that goes for all of you, everyone. Things you put your name on, that's all you got. All you have is your name. So all the stuff that I've been honored enough to put my name on is stuff that I love and I'm proud to use. Not saying it's the best, not saying there's other things that aren't better, but if you heard it on my record, it's mine. I have it. All right. What else do we got? I'm going to go for like a couple more questions here, find something juicy. Okay. I'm a chef by trade, and right now I'm in the process of opening a food court set in an office building, and my food stalls will be some of the countries I've worked in. Italian, Southern, India, Chinese, and Japanese. What should my Japanese signature dish be? This is a good question. And I'm not Japanese, but I've lived in Japan for 15 years at least. It's a great question. I love it when you go to a food court and there's different meals from every type of country. Love that. Maybe while I'm drinking this, you can make some suggestions of what kind of Japanese food you would like the guy to make. Hi. I see ramen, I see yakisoba. I'm going to say this. Anything but raw food. No raw fish in the food court. That's one thing I got to say. And anything dealing with raw food, you want to do it the way they do it in Japan. And I don't know how you would do that outside of Japan. And that's tricky. So I'm going to say anything but raw food. Of course, I know nothing about cuisine, but raw food. All right, let's get some of your questions here. What are you drinking? 今何飲んでますか? 麦茶です. I'm drinking, I don't know what it is in English, barley tea. And I drink a lot of tea. I'm not really a coffee guy. Maybe you guys are tea guys, coffee guys. I like tea. I could go through maybe 3 or 4 of these in a day, easily. I like it. Come back to Indonesia. I loved Indonesia. God, it was such a great country. So many really, really beautiful people and friendly people, and people really into music there. So I will definitely be going back. What else you got in there? Tea is good. Yes, tea is good. Coffee. Not really a coffee guy. I know so many people who just can't live without coffee. People in my family. But yeah, I just never really got it. Do you like Ghost? Yes. Oh, okay. I know how I'm going to close this thing out with you guys. When I got these questions, so many people ask me what I'm listening to, and so I just grabbed a bunch of CDs. I have tons of CDs. I'm just going to randomly go through them. All right. So I'm going to talk about whatever CDs I pick up. All right. So, do you listen to classical music? Occasionally. All right. How much water do you drink a day? I drink a lot of water, a lot of tea, but my favorite drink of all time is an ice cold Coca-Cola in a can. You can't beat that. The closest thing they have in Japan, it's called Mets Cola, and that is just as good. But Coca-Cola in a can, ice cold, nothing better. Sorry. All right. So anyway, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and I'm going to read through some of my CDs here. Random. All right. じゃあ質問が多いんですけど、適当に僕の CD コレクションからいろんな CD を発表したいと思います。だからみんなマーティ何聞いてるとか結構聞くので、ズバッと答えられないので適当に僕の CD から発表したいと思います。本当に適当ですから何が出てくるか実はわからないなんですけど、いきます。Alright, here's some CDs. Cool stuff right off the bat. Las Vegas. Anybody know Las Vegas out there? Yes, Las Vegas. I think they're from Scotland. Really, really cool. Dig them very much. Very interesting sound and very heartbreaking. Love it. This is a Japanese band called 9mm Parabellum Bullet. 日本で言うと9ミリ. I would definitely recommend this to anybody into extremely cool guitar heavy rock. Love this record. 9mm Parabellum Bullet, very cool. Great guitar playing. It's like metal without any of the lameness that sometimes happens in metal. Speaking of metal, listen to this. Cross Faith. Oh, skincare routine. Skincare routine. All right, let me give you some quick skincare advice. First of all, everybody should be wearing masks wherever they go outside now for a while. As soon as all this stuff settles down, take the masks off. But out of courtesy to other people, please wear a mask. Wearing a mask is great to keep the sun out of your face. And I use a proper moisturizing soap called NOV. It's called Nove. And it's just a basic washing cream. And I don't overdo it. And I think that bubbles and suds are just the devil. So you want to keep a lot of suds off your face. So that's all I do. I don't do anything else. Cross Faith. Get this. It's super heavy. Great guitar. Super riffs. めちゃめちゃ好きですよ。一回コラボしてすっごく楽しかったです。Definitely recommended for people into heavy hard music. Now we're getting into something I really like. The Shangri-Las. This is a compilation, really good one. It's got a nice little book in it. Basically anything from Ace Records out of England is great, but I'm a huge fan of the Shangri-Las. They're just like the ultimate girl group. And so many great songs and fantastic arrangements and just wonderful, wonderful magic. A lot of magic happens with the Shangri-Las. And here's the other side of the spectrum, Passcode. Passcode. Nothing like the Shangri-Las except they have female singers. Extremely heavy but with extremely cool breaks and rhythm. The rhythm in Passcode is so friggin' cool. Passcode 非常に好きですよ。なんか何が出てくるかわかんないようなサプライズが多い楽しいバンドです。応援したいです。Alright. Now this is my real thing right here. This is what I listen to all the time. It's radio air checks, and you can get them online actually. It's an air check, which means it's a radio program that was taped in real time, like say in this case 1956, with all the DJ talking and all the great songs. And this is music. This is really great music, and just a wonderful. It's where my heart is. My parents grew up with this music, so this was playing when I grew up. This and West Side Story. West Side Story for me is probably the ultimate music that ever existed, but we could do a whole podcast on that. I haven't heard this in a while, but it's called Mono. I think they're from England. Fantastic, very sexy music. これはエロいですよ。ぜひ聴いてほしいです。Romantic です。Also, there's a Japanese band called Mono, which is also fantastic, but they're totally different. This is kind of like 90s trip hop with extremely sexy female vocalist. Another one of my favorites, Jay Chou. Jay Chou, oh my God, Jay Chou. This guy is a genius. I think he's one of the main people that I'd really love to collaborate with. It's pop music, but he mixes so many things in just such the coolest way. And it's very romantic. Beautiful melodies, beautiful motifs, great arrangements. The closest I got to working with Jay Chou is I toured Asia with Ame, who's a fantastic singer, like the Beyonce of Asia, only just much, much more beautiful ballads. And Jay Chou came to our show in Taipei, and so I knew he watched me play, but he didn't come backstage afterwards, so I didn't get to talk to him. I'll share a very funny story about him in the next one of these podcasts I do. But I love his music, and if you hear about this Jay Chou, I want to collaborate with you. では。電波グミ。This is my big addiction. これはハマるんですよ。これは超エキサイティングだよ。アレンジはとんでもない面白い。で、歌のセンスがもう抜群すぎて、本当に聴いた瞬間に楽しくなります。This music that you play, if you put this Denpa Gumi CD on, the whole room will explode. I definitely recommend it for people who are interested in something cool and something very, very Japanese in nature. This probably has zero influence outside of Japan. It's very Japanese and very, very cool. Danko Jones. I'm glad I pulled this CD out. All of his CDs are great. This cover in particular is really good. I like the cover so much. I had the artist do my Wall of Sound album. Totally awesome. Danko is an awesome singer, songwriter, band leader, dude. Just totally the real deal. He's done some collaborations on my records. Go check him out. Check out his music. It's just real, man. It's really real. It's great. The Shirelles. Go for the Shirelles. The Shirelles. This is one of my favorite girl bands, girl groups, so to speak. The early 60s, all the songs that Carole King wrote, and that whole era of music, that's where the beautiful melodies are, and that's what inspired so many great people. And Phil Spector, and everything that Phil Spector is famous for, musically that is. Outside of music, it's kind of a no-touch situation, but beautiful, beautiful music. And just these songs are just fantastic and wonderfully sung, and just beautiful, natural, real harmonies. It's very human, and it just makes you feel really good. And That's something I like in music. Ayaya des Matsuraya. She is probably one of the big reasons that I wanted to come into Japan, because her music is just kind of really, really crazy, especially around this period. I covered one of her songs before, but like it really doesn't do it justice. Her songs and her arrangements are written by a guy named Tsunku, who is just such a genius that it's just so exciting and so happy. I don't know how to explain it, but you know how like when you listen to the Beach Boys and when you put the music on, the room changes? Well, the same thing happens with Matsuraya, and she's extremely talented as a singer and as an idol. Just fantastic. I was so happy to work with her once. We did a radio show together, and I was just such a fanboy and had a great time. Fantastic. Who's got this Kiss album? Now, it's no secret that I'm a Kiss fan, and when you're a Kiss fan this long, the regular albums just don't cut it anymore, and you need to have the bootlegs. And so this is an unreleased 1973 rehearsal, and it's pretty cool. But I mean, Kiss, what I need to say about Kiss that hasn't already been said? Pretty much the ultimate as far as inspiring people to get up and rock. So many people in so many different generations have been inspired by them, and I get it. I mean, I totally get it. I mean, if it wasn't for Kiss, none of us would be here probably. Elton John. A lot of CDs. You have no idea. I have the whole house is full of CDs. This is just a handful. But this Elton John album and all of his albums are just so brilliant. I just love it so much. And actually, I steal so many of my voicing ideas from his piano parts. To put it simply, I don't put the root in the bass of my chords as much as other people do. That's mainly from Elton John's influence. You know, he'll put a third or a fifth or even other notes of a chord as the bass of a chord, and it just takes your music to a different place, and I love that place. So, Elton John, a true god. Anything he does, I listen to and I enjoy. Just the best. Oh my God, we're going to end on some really cool stuff here. I don't think a lot of you guys know this. It's a band called Face Dancer. Now, let me see. Say yes if you've heard of this. Not a whole lot of people know it. Face Dancer is a band from Maryland, my hometown. Baltimore, Washington, Maryland area, and there's this great record label out of Europe. I think it's out of UK that releases these records that are kind of hard to find. And when I saw this record, Rock Candy Records? There you go. All these great 70s records, and I love 70s rock. The 80s kind of like, I really disliked almost everything that came out of the 80s. I loved Raven, I loved early Iron Maiden, but that's about it. I was like such a depressed guy in the 80s. Didn't like it, but I loved the 70s. And so this is Face Dancer, and they were like the band in the Maryland area. And the guitarist, Jeff Adams, was so brilliant. He still plays brilliantly today. So brilliant. This album is just so tasty guitar-wise and song-wise. You know, a lot of success has to do with being in the right place in the right time, and a lot of things that luck, you know. They were the top of the hill in Maryland, but they never really quite, made it into the mainstream, although they have fantastic songs. This album was a big one for me when I was like 14, and I still listen to it every once in a while. Great guitar playing, great record. Face Dancer. The last one, I wish I had something that had more of a deep meaning for this last one. But I'm going to go with this just because it's here. It's another one from the 70s. Who knows the Gods? Anybody know the Gods out there? The Gods. Yeah, Jeff Adams. He's the guitar player from Face Dancer. The Gods, okay? This is rad. The first Gods album. When I was a kid, it was Kiss, Angel, The Gods, Stars, who else? Legs Diamond, Moxie, Yesterday and Today. I'm sure missing out on all these. Riot. Oh my God, I love the first 3 Riot albums. After that, I completely jumped ship. But the first 3 Riot albums were fantastic. The Gods. This one, it's like I don't know what it's like. It's like kind of Leonard Skinner meets Kiss. It's kind of southern rock and roll, but I love it. When I saw it came out on CD, I got it right away. There's some great lyrics. The lyrics are just fun. I wish I had a more poignant album to bring out to you to end this thing, but that's just like a handful of my record collection. It's incredible how he still looks so young. Thank you so much. You're too kind. I'm so young, but I'm busting out these ancient albums from the 70s. But I think the key is, you got to keep your feet in the absolutely newest stuff as well, because a lot of times musicians in particular tend to go back and say, well, music was so much better then, and it was so much better then, blah, blah, blah. And they're missing out on so much great stuff that's happening now. Really, really, like I introduced a bunch of these in this. This is really just a random sampling of what I just dug out. But there's a lot more new stuff that there's a great band called Toriko. I don't know how to say it in English, in Tricot. And they're fantastic. And there's a lot of new stuff from Sakamoto Maya. And there's a lot of great new stuff. So do not become one of those people who's like, oh, metal was great back then, but now it sucks, or music was better then. You can't let that happen to yourself, because then you're just the past is never coming back. And believe it or not, there's a lot of great new stuff now. So I think that's the key to, also, it might have something to do with looking young too. So definitely keep your ears open for things that are great. There's so many new things. So let's see if I can get a few more of your questions in. I can barely read this stuff. Play something. Yeah, I turned this thing off. I'm actually not supposed to play in here. I live in an apartment in a tall high-rise, and I don't record here. I don't do any music in here. So I'm just really surprised that no one has complained. I'm glad that I got away with playing what I did, and that's how much I love you guys. Risking getting thrown out of this place for creating noise. But that's rock and roll. So what else do we got here? Naoki Morioka. He plays guitar in my band very often. Oh, someone asked me about my band members. And I'd like to maybe close off by talking about my band members. The band members you've seen on tour. Jordan Ziff. I hope you're checking this out. He's a god of guitar. Kiyoshi, god on bass. We all love her. And Charji on drums. You all know how rad he is. And Morioka Naoki is a fantastic guitar player who has done a lot of shows with me. And all the other members in my band, it's kind of like a family, So the longer any lineup plays together, it becomes more of a band unit. But anyone can be part of the family and be part of a live tour at any time. And that's one thing, I guess it's due to my extremely strict boot camp. Once you've made it through the boot camp of my band, you're in for life. You know, there's great people like Ben Azar from Israel, but he's too good looking to be in my band, so I think that I might have to put no for him. But no, I'm just kidding. He's such a fantastic guitarist, and he did one of my European tours. Really, really fantastic player. And Ron Jarzambek, Jesus Christ, what a player he is. Chris Katero and Yotan. Yotan did the tour of India with me. I just did, and Joe Nunez played great drums on that Indian tour. We just did a festival there. God, if I'm missing anybody, Chris Katero played on my live video. All the members who played in my band have done really a lot of important things outside of my band, and I really want to support them in anything they do. So when it comes time for me to tour, I'm just like, who wants to come? And it always turns out to be a very band type of thing. So everyone, you know, I love everybody who's been in my band and everybody who's come to the shows and everyone here who support me doing this kind of thing. And I really just can't wait to make music for everybody. This whole you know, being stuck inside thing sucks. We know it, but you know, let's just try to keep doing it for the sake of the people who are risking their lives. You know, it's going to be hard for us for the next couple months or maybe longer, and but we can do our best. So I'm sure all my band members feel the same way, and all the bands I've been in, the bands I will be in, and all the people I've collaborated with. Basically everybody in the music business is in the same friggin' boat. You know what I mean? So let's just try to keep positive, keep making music, and whether you do it for your life or for a hobby or any other reason, music is a very, you know, healing, although I hate that word so much. Music is very important for all of us. So keep playing music. 音楽やってください。音楽楽しんでください。皆さん健康を最優先してください。で、他人の健康も最優先してください。必ずマスクをつけてください。で、できるだけ外出ないでくださいね。みんな同じ状況だから、一番大変な人たちは、スーパーの人たちとか、配達の人たちとか、もちろん、病院の人たちとか、病気の人たち、信じられないほど辛いですので、あの人たちのために、ちょっと自己犠牲しましょうね。I'm going to thank you all very much. I'm going to leave now. And be safe. We'll do some of these things again. You guys are fantastic. Thank you very much. Later. 大丈夫かな。
あれやんなかったね。愛さんやった？
やったよ。
初めに弾いてたっけ？
気がする。